Ready to find your flow? AFSA's got you covered.
That's right. The hands-on training lab in Richardson, Texas is where you trade PowerPoints for pipe wrenches. Real tools, real systems, and real experience you can actually use.
And if you're ready to test your skills, check out the hands-on NFPA 25 workshops, where you'll inspect, test, and maintain live sprinkler systems and fire pumps. No simulations, no fluff, just pressure, flow, and know-how.
It's the perfect way to get under pressure without cracking under it.
So get fired up and register today at firesprinkler.org. Spots fill faster than a charged branch line.
AFSA, where you don't just learn the code, you live it. Welcome to the K Factor podcast, where we turn up the heat on all things fire protection. Brought to you by the American Fire Sprinkler Association, this podcast sparks conversations about the latest technology, trends, and tools shaping the industry. Join the AFSA tech team as we fan the flames of innovation in fire safety.
Welcome to another episode of the K Factor podcast. We have the great opportunity to talk with Chance Hughes and Kory Steele from efire. Chance is a project manager, and Kory is a sprinkler division
manager.
Yeah. I missed that back end. Listeners, bear with us because this is another episode that we have Eric behind the control board and things get sketchy every once in a while.
I feel like I'm getting better at it, though.
You are. You're getting there.
We're having less issues. Not no issues, but less.
So, Kory, could you tell us kind of how you started your career and how you became the sprinkler division manager in efire?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me.
No problem.
I've listened to you guys prior to actually being here, so it's really cool and an honor. But I started in the fire field, firefighter. Spent many years doing that and ended up
You could just a little closer to the mic. Yeah.
I got medically retired.
Okay.
So the people that own my company, I went to school with them, and they brought me in, and they thought firefighting and fire protection was the same thing. And they were like,
You mean it's not?
No. No. And I'd had experience in landscaping too, and they thought I did sprinklers in landscaping. It'd be the same thing.
Yeah.
Just fire sprinklers, So
That's a little different too.
Yeah. So I started with them, and 6 months in, they fired everyone in the sprinkler division.
Okay.
So I had like 6 months experience, and he basically told me, you'll make it or you won't.
Okay.
So a year and a half, I was pretty much by myself. Gained another employee for a little while.
Right.
And then, so we started out then doing roughly around $250,000 a year, and now we're up to 8 employees in my division.
Awesome.
Running 3 trucks and doing a little over $2 million a year.
Wow, that's a big growth.
Yeah. It's been a blessing, but it's been a hard one. Hard road.
Yeah. Yep. So what does a day in your life look like? Like, what's your primary role?
Oh man, I do a little bit of everything, but mainly I line my guys out in my trucks and where they're going and what they're doing. I quote things. I do everything.
Okay.
Order things, quote things. Keep running the day to day, and it's just chaos.
Yeah.
From can to can't.
That's right.
Every day.
So, Chance, what's your role like? What do you do?
I pretty much try to take some of the stress off Kory.
Okay.
I also got 7 guys that I gotta make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, getting projects done, in the timely manner. So I just try to take some of the stress off Kory. That's pretty much my job.
As your guys are stressing. I mean, yeah.
We're really in this building phase where we're expanding greatly at a rapid rate. Like I said in the beginning, it was just me.
Yep.
And so now it's getting to the point where we're getting so busy that I'm having to create positions and put people in.
It's a great place to be.
It is. Yeah. It is, but it's quite nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of growth. And what's that time frame?
9 years.
In 9 years, that's big growth. Quick. Yeah. So, are you doing new construction and tenant improvements, or?
Well, we started out simply doing service, and repair and inspection. But as we've progressed, and I've stuck my toe in the water a little bit more, we're getting into a lot more new construction.
Okay.
So I'd say in the last 2.5, 3 years, we've done quite a bit.
Is that, are you seeing one standard type of occupancy that you're concentrating on, or is it a little bit of everything?
It's all been different. I mean, it's just so many different industries are coming in and building in our area that you're just dealing with all of it.
And
It's nice.
yeah.
Well, it's nice because it keeps it entertaining, but it's also like now I got to go figure something else out. New,
Yeah, you
right?
can't
So
plan a
you're getting the groove
routine and go
right.
with it.
Right.
It's like every day is a new start, you know, and you have to figure it out. But
As much as it gets kind of boring when you're like, oh, it's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice when you're like, oh, I can get into a workflow versus, oh, well, I guess we're on to something.
I can tell you one of the
completely
biggest
different
things
now.
I've not handled very well is dealing with construction in itself,
Okay.
like timelines and the way projects go and setbacks, and you know, I'm 100 miles an hour or nothing.
That's that fire service is like, let's get the job done as
Exactly.
long as it takes.
I've told these guys for 9 years, you get done at 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock,
Right.
you can go home.
Yep. And that's
You know.
PM or AM.
That's right. And it's been both, I promise. But yeah,
John always says, I don't care what half day you work, 12 hours in the morning. You know, it's
yeah.
12-hour job. So what are some of the, are you taking a project from concept all the way through to installation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I actually have a drawer, a guy doing the drawings for me.
Okay.
But I do everything in between
Yeah.
and get it to him, and then we go from there. We take the plans and go from there and do every bit of it.
So what's the easiest part of your job? What's the most rewarding if we can't come up with one of those?
I think for me, it's seeing our relationship out in the world and
Okay.
how we've gained respect and people trust what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because we do take that extra step to make it right.
Right.
And like, you know, it's amazing to me how often you find things not being right
Yeah.
in this field.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
And we've gained a lot of respect in our
Yeah.
area, and that's the part I like.
And a lot of that has to do, obviously, probably with your quality of work, but are you noticing that customer service plays big there too?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're in Mississippi.
Yeah.
It's the good old boy state, and you know, you don't get jobs even. It's not always by your estimate,
Right.
but who you know.
Okay.
We deal with a lot of that.
Yeah.
And friends of friends, you know, and I'd say our install wise, we're probably 50-50 on that.
Okay.
It's more of a who you know and not what you know.
Yeah. If somebody's a facilities manager says, hey, they did some great work. And
Yeah.
yeah. Awesome.
Absolutely.
That reputation carries you a lot further than, yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
yeah.
So do you have a similar answer, Chance, to that? Yeah.
For sure.
So what are some of the struggles? I mean, we talked about how much work you have to do in the time frame, but what else are you running into that's an issue?
You know, with all the stress of doing an install from start to finish, when we get into dealing with local AHJs and like where we're from, the majority of them are fire marshals
Yeah.
in the area. And for the most part, they're great, but they approve plans. But I've noticed we've run into things. And let me say that me coming from the fire field,
Right.
I was very pro fire marshal,
Of course.
you know, but in the recent years, I'm just seeing things that have become more about money, even from their standing. You know, of course, we want to get things right and be corrected if we're not. But
Right.
we have a good working relationship with all of them for the most part. But I've just seen things like them making jobs personal against owners.
Okay.
You know, when it comes down to the final inspections and just creating issues that don't exist, you know, things like that. Their finals are set up in a way to make money. And I just don't really understand that. I would think they'd be more about the safety and things being done, you know, correct. But they, the way they do their inspections is you go in and you start. And if they find one thing wrong, it shuts down.
So you have a sprinkler that's 3.5 inches off the wall rather than 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're done here. Fix that. And then they come back out a week, 2 weeks later, or a couple
Absolutely.
days.
And you have to reschedule. The owner has to pay a fee for them to come
for
back.
the final inspection.
Yeah. And of course, our traveling back and forth and what it cost us to be there each time, who's paying for that?
Right.
You know, so those kind of things, I just don't like it. It's really kind of turned my opinion of AHJs.
Right.
Because for a long time I thought we were on the same team,
Yeah.
you know, but then I've had them go through a final and have me add a head. Well, they, for whatever reason, stop the inspection. Well, the next time we come back, I get gigged on that head.
Wow.
Because it's not on the plans, you know, and I'm
Right.
like, you told me to put that there. And
That's
then
crazy.
the inspection stops. We have to fix it and
Yeah.
reschedule.
And of course, that makes your life tough. But then when you look at the big picture, your customers are their customers.
Exactly.
Because there's
Exactly.
a bigger thing. If you don't have people living in your city, you don't get the tax funding to get the new truck that you really need because new high rises are coming in. We need a ladder truck.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, maybe I'm missing something. I don't know for sure. But,
Yeah.
but dealing with it and watching it, I just, you know, I'm just really not thrilled about the way things have gone.
What do you think is the solution?
Honestly, you know, I think just keep it professional. You know,
Okay.
keep it about the job. Don't let your personal feelings come into play. I mean, a lot of them come in on these second, third inspections and they're pissed when they get there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, really? I mean, this is what you do every day.
This is
You
what
know?
you're getting paid for. right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
you know, I think education on both sides, obviously,
sure.
but I think if they were more mind focused on what we're looking at and the rules, and you know, I mean, they're taking NFPA and that they adopt and
Right.
go by, and just changing it.
Right.
You know, and I just don't understand it.
And building code points to it, and you're like, I'm in the document, the building point. Yeah.
Sure. I've had 2 incidences lately in the last month where we conducted an inspection and wrote up the deficiencies and sent a quote to repair it, along with code in that estimate to
Right.
explain why.
Section
And-
references.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And the owners of the buildings are buddies with the fire marshal.
Interesting.
And he tells them, no, you're compliant. You're
Yeah.
good. Don't worry about it.
And this is, I mean,
You know?
we get a lot of people in training too. So it's fortunately and unfortunately not just an issue that y'all run into.
Really.
And especially when we get into more rural areas, or like of course a place like Dallas with all the people and some of the funding in comparison. I'm not saying, I mean, there's situations where most fire service don't get enough training.
Absolutely.
Or fire
Yeah.
marshals don't have the funding to. And that's overall in everything. But once you get into more rural communities, this is something that we hear pretty frequently. And we've had the approach to offer a no-cost membership to AHJs. And as a contractor association, I make it very clear that it's not because, I mean, of course, our whole purpose is to help our contractors, right?
Sure.
But the reasoning is because this helps them help you and get them the education that they need. And we've had plenty of conversations where it's like that situation comes up. It's like, hey, did you know that they have but no cost membership? But also, as we start to build that rapport, let's sit down with people who are sitting and living the codes and standards on a regular basis. Let's see if they think that the intent was that, and have those conversations.
Yeah. I would like to take my experience here
Right.
back there,
Yeah.
you know, and spread the word, because I can tell you, out of many classes I've been to in the last 9-10 years, I've gotten more out of this one than
sure.
any other I've ever been in.
That's great to hear.
You know,
yeah.
and
Circling
just-
back to your conversation on the AHJs, though, is it's interesting because we run into this all the time because, you know, especially when we're teaching our folks come through our ITM programs, you know, we have that discussion on the roles and responsibilities of the various parties, right? The building owners has to, you know, maintain the entire system, right? The ITM technician that comes out, their only responsibility is doing the testing and inspection per NFPA 25 per what their contract says, but they're just there to point those things out,
Yeah.
right? And then it's the AHJ's job to enforce
Exactly.
everything in that book. Well, then we get the AHJs that are, you know, deciding on what they're going to enforce and potentially not enforce, right? And some of it I'm not exactly opposed to, right? If it's a large ticket life safety item,
Yeah.
obviously get on top of it, right? But if it's a, hey, I know you've got budgetary concerns, is the missing sign really going to be the thing we're going to break you over?
Fail the final one.
Yeah.
Right. Like let's let's push that down a little bit. Like, yeah, the oh no, you're fine, and then going and putting that in the building owner's ear, and then when you come back out, oh well, the fire marshal said I'm in good shape, right? And then it's like, okay, well now it makes our job harder on the ITM side of trying to sell them on. You still need to do this, and just because that AHJ doesn't want it doesn't mean there's not another AHJ like an insurance company that's not gonna. That might be their big ticket item for that.
Don't mind
year.
him; he's an insurance guy,
right? But like, and then even if nobody's in for it, like the book still wants it. So that's the really interesting and challenging part to navigate, right? And I think it'd be interesting to pick your brain a little bit more on how we navigate those conversations when we're running across that. And
well, I can tell you, I responded to these situations with a rather lengthy email and basically just explained that I wanted them to understand why these things were deficient, and why they're getting this estimate to do repairs. And, and also in the nicest way possible to pretty much say, well, they enforce this everywhere else. So, you are equal to what everybody else is having to go by.
right?
And like I said, I give a lot of code and a lot of reference and a lot of shall and should and, and things like that. And I pointed out to them in a way that I try to be more informative than, I don't know what the word would be. I'm not attacking them or going after them or, no, I'm right and he's wrong. I want to be informative. So, and
take the ego out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's something I've had to learn dealing, I've been in jobs dealing with the public, but this one has been more in depth as far as dealing with attitudes,
right?
Which is crazy.
It's strange.
Construction guys, but I've really had to put myself in check and make it about the job and what we're doing and not my personal feelings towards something. So that's kind of what I was referencing about the fire marshal themselves coming in and being mad because they have to be there,
right.
And I'm like, man, that's not fair, to the owner or us or anybody. And so my response is I fill them with all the information I can.
right.
And in the end say, we value your business.
Right.
We value, we would love to stay with you forever. We'll do anything you need. I just wanted you to understand why.
Right.
And so out of the two big ones I've had, one had us come fix the stuff.
Yeah.
And the other one never responded.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
So it's more of an educational approach on this is why it's important. This is kind of the intent of it.
Well, people seem to automatically go to where you're writing me up for things that I don't need to be written up for, and you're padding your pockets and trying to make more money.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I want to separate. Yeah. I want you to understand this first. And it's not about the money. We're not going to retire off your apartment complex.
Right.
So
I wish we would.
Absolutely. Oh, man. If I can get to your level someday.
That's where, and I think it's super important as well because I want the next job to be easy.
Sure.
Easier for both parties. You're going to run across John Smith again, HJ or not, right? And it's not fair. It's costing the owner a bunch of money, and it makes fire sprinklers look bad. We have enough trouble battling Hollywood.
Well, people are negative toward this in general.
Right.
Owners or people that have to pay for it.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't want that, but they're required.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that along the lines of what we've been discussing is the AHJs don't help that relationship with us.
Right.
I mean, I have seen them shut down things. Like we had a club locally that paid tons of money to have a rapper come out that was well known.
Yeah.
And they didn't want that to happen, so they shut them down on fire safety stuff, gave them my phone number on a Friday night,
Yeah.
And they just walked off, and it's like I'm left to deal with
And
it.
you're like, I was hoping to get tickets to this.
Exactly. I mean, if you let it go, I'll go out there.
Yeah, I'm already out in the parking lot. Like, what you need?
I'll be a fire watch to.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think sometimes their approach to the owners about requiring things leads to problems with us.
Painting a bad picture for us.
Yeah, exactly. Or they set them up and pump them up and make them really mad by the time we get to them. It's like, man, we're not doing this. We're just here to put it in.
And then locally, it's horrible. But if this is happening in 25 locations across the country, that's a bad painting for all sprinkler contractors.
Yeah, it is. It's a tough road out there.
Yeah.
You have to care about what you're doing,
right,
to be good at it and successful, I think.
Yeah.
So
Chance, how long have you been in our industry?
I started when I was 18. Kory hired me. Green, I didn't even know what a pipe wrench was. And
That's all right. I still don't. I'm just
he actually hired me. They had a Connex full of fittings, like T's and 90s, and I was in there separating them and getting them all where they needed to be. And he was like, during the summer, I was in school at the time. He's like, during the summer, he's like, you want to do some install? I was like, oh, it can't be that bad. My first job, I was with a guy that we still got, Cody. We were in a attic, and Cody's a big old boy. He's like 6'4", over 300. So I was in an attic.
Does he still have eligibility for football? Oklahoma State needs somebody.
Probably.
No, I'm just kidding.
Probably.
he'd be great.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
A lot of mass.
A lot of mass. But we were in a attic that I couldn't stand up in. Like, it was small, and Lord knows he couldn't fit up there. So I was up there by myself getting measurements, trying to figure out, where does this bell go, like in tune with the drop ceiling that we were working with.
Right.
So I was green and I got thrown in the middle of this. But through that, I kind of worked my way up into project
Matter of fact,
manager.
that's the only time I've ever heard him threaten to quit.
Yeah.
If he had to go back and get in that attic,
Mind you, it was in the middle of
Summer.
Mississippi June heat.
Yeah.
So it was miserable.
But
what keeps
Cody
you
was
here?
repairing things blind, and we had the green guy up there like this round thing,
Yeah.
So
It was like,
it went on a while.
Yeah.
It was like
Which steel round thing?
Yeah. It was ridiculous. But getting thrown in the middle of it, it really, it helps you learn, what all you need to know in this industry.
Well, that said, I experience now, like dealing with my guys, it's like he can attest. They call me 347 times a day. Yeah. And now he's getting it, thank goodness. But
Appreciate it.
sitting where I am, I'm like, dude, I didn't have anybody
Right.
to call. I had to figure this out. Can y'all not do that a little bit, But
Yeah. These are grown men asking us, but
but whatever it takes, But I'm just like, I find that they don't try to go find it or do it on their own now that they got somebody to lean on.
Right.
Kory's famous words to me, it was always Google it or YouTube it. Every time I'd ask him a question, he'd just send back Google it or YouTube it. So that's how I learned was through YouTube.
My previous manager, one thing that stuck with me, it was don't come to me with problems, come to me with solutions.
Absolutely.
If you can't figure it out from there, at least have a solution for me.
Exactly.
Yep.
I would love that.
Yeah.
That'd be great. But the guys, I guess best known term is figure it out.
Figure it out.
I'll let them go a while
Yeah.
to see if they can find it. Because if you have to find it, you won't ever forget it.
Right.
Yep.
So, but we limp along.
Yeah.
We get it done in the end. But
So-
I've got a good crew.
What kept you in? Because one thing that we're trying to fight as an industry, right, is bringing new people into the industry. And you were in an attic with parts you had no clue.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing this?
The funny thing is, I went back to school to get my accounting degree, and I left for a year. And I was like, I'm never going back to fire sprinkler. I was like, this ridiculous. But then Kory again texted me with a job, and I was like, I know what to do. Like, I feel like I was more comfortable doing fire sprinkler because I've been doing that since I was 18.
Right.
So it was just kind of, just pick up where I left off. So to the younger people that are getting started, and definitely if you get thrown into install like I did in the attic in Mississippi Heat, it sucks. I'm not going to lie, but the payoff, like Kory was saying, like when I do a job, it's got my name on it. So I like doing good work because that's not only eFire's name that we work for, but it's also my name and Kory's name because his name's on everything we do. So
thank goodness.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just like the doing good work, and like y'all were talking about, making customers happy. I just like that part of it.
That little bit of pride in the work you do.
Exactly.
And it seems to be the one industry left, one of the few industries left, I can't speak on all of them, that the harder you work, the more you get out of it.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Which you can't say about everything, all industries.
I don't know of another time when I went through such a miserable time
Right.
to come out and love it.
Yeah.
You know,
and you've been smiling every day in class, even when the calls come in. So it's,
yeah. I mean, you have your day-to-day crap that everybody deals with, but in the end, to see where we were and to where we are now and how we're thriving.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I would say that's the biggest part too.
I always say we've been blessed.
Yeah.
I don't say I did anything.
Right.
I don't know, people come up and ask me, how did y'all do this? And I'm like, I don't know. My thing is pride in what you do, pride in your name, and you have to care about the safety of these people you're out working for.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's the biggest thing.
I don't know. You said you don't like to say but I will say the first year that I started, we broke $1 million for the first year. So I'm not saying it was me.
Hey,
Yeah.
But
Fair enough.
whatever it takes. Man.
it definitely wasn't just me. It definitely was not. I couldn't tell you what a 1x2 bell was at the time.
The year we broke $1 million was crazy.
It was.
And then of course they've just taken our goal and just put it up through the roof every year. And every year I'm stressing out.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way we're going to do this, and then we do.
They say the first million is the hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We hit 2, like, within a year
Yeah.
of one,
Awesome.
and it's just like, but I can't tell you how we did it.
No.
I just do a job, finish it, do the next one,
As a previous fire service guy, though, probably once a month, it's like, I could be under a rollover right now.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds okay.
I can tell
Fire
you,
on the hose sounds okay sometimes.
I can tell you, I'm very much an adrenaline junkie, and that dump you get from that life isn't so much in this life,
Right?
But so I'm still a volunteer. I'm a chief, and my county that I live in, so I'm
fun.
still playing with it. But it's there's nothing like being in the firehouse with the guys,
Right.
and getting on that truck and rolling through town,
Not having any clue what you're coming up to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. But
So as you said, been growing and needing to hire for younger people coming up. What do you look for as a hiring manager?
really,
Attitude.
yeah, attitude's probably one of the biggest. But I just want to see what they can handle.
Okay.
What is their work ethic and how tough are they?
Right.
Because we're definitely in a new world
Yeah.
when it comes to that, and the Snapchats and all that. I've gone through probably 6 or 8 guys, younger guys, and they're on that phone taking selfies on Snapchat and
At customer sites. Just,
so,
and because I guess the reason I ask this is that everyone we talk to is like, there's not enough labor. And then we get green people who do have a little bit of drive, but I mean, you don't know what a pipe wrench is. You can only learn that through experience. So I guess I was asking because it's like, it seems like there are people that are decent. I'm not saying there's a lot or as many as there was. Just trying to figure out how to get them involved.
I think I remember being told at younger age, give things time before you make your mind up about them.
Right.
Because once you see yourself making advancements, and I tell everybody I hire, the goal here is to get in a truck by yourself, and make more money. And that's the biggest thing. I don't think they hang on long enough, Nothing worth having comes easy. We've always heard that. And you're going to have to go through some growing pains, but once you get to the other side, it's worth it.
I'm going to sound like an old head right now, but I kind of came through the age where the social media and the phones started early in my elementary school days, right? So I've lived with this stuff all the time. And I've got a 17-year-old at home. And unfortunately, I think that has a negative impact because everything we do on our phones is for instant gratification.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you talk to the kids coming out of school, and if they don't like it in a month, 2 months, and it's shortened. I mean, my grandpa was with his construction company, 20 years.
Exactly.
And me, it was 5 years. Now it's 3 months. And they're like, I don't like this anymore.
Well, that can get into a whole other discussion.
Right.
Because I think our problems start in Washington and come all the way back to where we're from.
Right.
As far as the mentality of people and, people, what I've said out loud for months, maybe even years, is these kids don't have grit like we did.
Yeah.
They didn't come up like we did. Most of them.
Right.
Not all of them, but, to dig in and work through your little pains and have that mindset. I'm going to learn this. I'm going to do it. There's just not a lot of that.
No.
Well, the other important thing I feel to remember is that you're not going to be good right off the bat. You're going to be pretty terrible for a while. That's part of the learning experience.
Exactly.
Josh and I hadn't done a whole lot of fitting until we started building the lab. And so
still
we had
questionable. So
crew come in and they gave us the rundown. But Josh and I, at the end of one day, looked at each other and were like, if we were alone on a truck, we'd be garbage. I'm pretty sure we'd be fired in a couple days.
No,
like we
not
were
profitable.
not good.
I was trying to screw in pipe backwards for forever.
Yeah.
But it's like that was part of our learning experience, right? We're like, we're not good at that. I'm sure if we had a bit more practice, we'd probably get decent at it. But like
I'd be an okay helper now.
Right.
But
there's a lot of things there's a lot of things you can't teach in this field. You have to just do it, and so that's part of the hanging in there and staying with it is to get to that point where you're fluent.
Yeah.
And then things will change,
And the best designers are fitters.
Oh, yeah.
Coming out of the field. Like and you don't need a degree to fit, right? And we don't need a degree to design. So your path is as much work as you put in.
Exactly.
And that's cool.
We come from a company that's very involved, I would say, in a sense of they care about their employees and would do anything in the world for them. I mean, and I'm not being sparing when I say that.
Right.
At one time, the owner offered Chance, they were going to pay for him to go to college to be an engineer.
Right.
In which is just, he was on another path at the time. But that's the kind of things they do, and I think it starts there.
For sure.
And I try, the one thing I've tried to do in my 9 years is show my crew that I care about them.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I won't do for them.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to chew you out to the point where you have to get away from me, but
doesn't happen much, right? Yeah.
See, really, he doesn't even talk to the guys really anymore. He just tells me, so I got to be the bad guy.
That was the whole point.
Delegation is great.
Yeah, no, I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, it all rolls downhill. But the one thing that I say, the one thing I've said about 7 one thing, but attention to detail is what I really push, and I said it's what keeps you alive or gets you killed.
Yeah,
so. And I believe in that because when you're doing this work, that detail matters.
Then you walk into a building and you can tell who took pride in their work by that attention to detail. Sure.
Oh, I've had them pull full branch lines and stuff out.
Yeah.
And redo it.
Oh yeah, riser going up if it's crooked. Oh yeah, we've taken it down and everything. So
couplings facing different directions.
Yep.
You can see it from eye level.
Yep.
And, yeah.
Yep.
He was making fun of me in the class a while ago. He said I was getting on. What'd you say?
yeah, you're over there. We're drawing them sprinklers. He's over there. I'm talking getting the perfect dimension on every circle that he was doing. I was like, buddy, just draw a dot. That's all you gotta do. Just draw
Those
a dot.
CD people you were talking about, that's me.
That's you?
Yeah. Well, everybody else was done with 2 bays, and he's over there just doing them first 4 that we did.
Yeah.
So
We're like 7 chapters ahead, and I'm still on the sprinklers. But
And you said, I mean, caring about other people is huge. We're all going through this really difficult life together on this earth, and we have these spots for our work, and it's so important. But leaving that, you're in a company that's investing in training.
yeah.
And I know that we're a training association, and I'm talking up training, but that was one of the biggest things for me is if you weren't showing interest in my growth to help you, that's hard to do. So even just sending you down for class, right? That shows you a lot what your company's doing for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think I've been probably to 6, maybe 7 classes in 9 years, and
That's awesome.
man, I've advanced by leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, I was scared to death. But here we are now. So it's definitely been a blessing.
Yeah. So are there any last words for the listeners you'd like to leave on?
Yeah, hang in there and join AFSA and come to some of these classes and put time into business, man.
Yeah.
But these classes are great and definitely should experience them.
Appreciate it. Well, we appreciate your time. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you the next one.
Adios.
This has been the K Factor Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share wherever you tune in to podcasts. Or head over to our website for more. Reach out to us anytime at technical@firesprinkler.org. Stay safe and always learn as we keep the fire protection conversation going.